It is the 12th of September 2024. This is WIKISPEED Standup. I'm just going to hide this chat and then go ahead, Lauren.
Yes, this is Lawrence Salter, Gabriola Island, British Columbia, Canada. And the past week, did a few things. One of them was to go to the Everything Electric and see if there was anything useful there. And also, I was supposed to meet with someone. I didn't meet in person, but I did talk to them for 15 minutes. And so we have two people now who are pretty good with containers, and both have said they're welcome questions and things like that. So we've got like a resource. Neither of them both of them are too busy to get involved in the other parts of it, or I don't know how they're interested they are in robots, but both of them were quite happy to help with any problems we have. And the Everything Electric, I'll probably talk in crosstalk. It was just cars mostly, except the panels were fantastic with the guys from TBD. One of the guys from TBD was like one of the conveners was the chairman of one of the panels, and Sandy Munro was on it, and then there was like real interesting disagreements, like Sandy Munro. I'll talk about it in crosstalk, but it was good in terms of, because there's just wild disagreements about just how it's going to look and what things are going to be big and what aren't. One of them was that Jetsons, yes, vertical takeoff and landing Jetson family car. That's Sandy Munro. And somebody else was really took him on that. And then today I did spend a few hours working on the crafting your Docker file. So it's good getting back into Unix, and I just copied a directory over to another place because I had skipped the part of his example and now I need it for the next video. So I copied a file from one place to another. It's but man, like this random other person that I know who knows about Linux, when I said, do you know about Docker containers? And he said, I work with them all the time, so it's like so common. You were telling me also you knew somebody who does, yeah.
Yep.
So it's like a basic thing, and it's also really good pedagogically for bringing other people on board of all levels. So,
he's there again, but he's still audio only.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to get on like half a dozen different methods here. I'm trying with Google Meet. I'm trying with Jitsi. I'm trying them both on.
So this is Jitsi.
And when you click on the link for the email, it doesn't take you to whatever it's called. Inside the email, it says, "Oh, I'm gonna connect you up to WikiSpeed Scrum Open Free." But when you click on the link, it actually connects you to Rapid Pressure's Trouble Partially, which is very confusing.
Yeah. I'm very confused. But like I said, I'm also trying on my desktop to get you by Google Chrome and by Jitsi, and right now it's just saying it's asking to be let in. Do you see anything that indicates that somebody's asking to be let in?
No.
Oh, yeah. The Jitsi started fooling around with that too, and let's see if there's a.
Oh, I've got you twice. Well, I'm going to hit a plus. It says that you're connected on one of them for 48 seconds, and that looks like the voice one. And the other one, it says you've been connected for 1 minute and 3 seconds, but it doesn't seem to let me do anything with you.
Hold on
Is
a
it
second. Let me see if I'm getting. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying on different devices and everything here. Okay, no one's responded to your request. Let me try this again.
Sure.
Yeah, something about PWU-TTMQ-FEJ.
Cool.
So, they you ignore the Google Meet thing, which Google Calendar puts on, and you go down to those rapid pressures trouble partially. That the URL that contains that, and then that takes you to a couple of. It's trying to redirect you. The upper one. There's two places to go, and you click on the upper one, and then it takes you here. So it's not.
Okay, so first of all, ignore the Google Meet, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Now I got something about join the meeting with Jitsi,
Yes.
and then there's something about
It's a
Jitsi
URL.
meeting.
You have to
Yeah.
find
Okay, I got that.
it says rapid
Okay.
partially.
Okay. Now it's okay. Join meeting here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you see me now?
Not yet. I've still got you on audio only.
So does it give you the redirect notice after you hit the URL? It says rapid pressures. It should give you two links. The upper one is you say accept yes. The upper one.
Rapid pressure. I don't see anything about rapid pressure in the email.
Not. You got an
in the email. In the email, when you click on meet.jitsi/wikispeed scrum open free, you click on that one.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I clicked on that, and I'm in a thing that's I'm getting all the feedback. So apparently something's. Okay, I'm in a thing that says Jitsi here,
Okay.
and it says open scrub meeting, but you're not seeing me. Oh, hold on, I see something down here. Okay, I'm in the Meet Jitsi open scrub WIKISPEED open scrub open free. You don't see me there?
No, it was supposed to redirect you to rapid pressure trouble partially, so it's not redirecting you. So you're going to a meeting, but it's just not the meeting that we're in.
Okay, I'm not getting redirected here. I tell you what, I will close that out totally. So you can close out a bunch of this stuff here. And
so if you have in your title bar, if you got Meet Jitsi, and then you've got the WIKISPEED Scrum open, whatever it was, if you just click on the title bar and you get back to the Meet Jitsi, if you type in rapid pressures trouble partially, it'll take you to it's 4 words and it's got capitalization. It's a pain in the ass to type in, but
it has spaces.
Hold on. I'm at the Meet Jitsi WIKISPEED Scrub. I'm at that. Now you're saying I do something there?
So if you click on your title bar and you just delete the WIKISPEED Scrum Open Free part and you leave the Meet Jitsi / part, and then we're going to give you what to type in.
Okay, hold on here. Okay, I'm deleting the WIKISPEED Open Free. It's a whole long thing here.
Yep.
I'm getting rid of that. Okay,
Yep.
now what do I type in? First of all, is this case sensitive?
Case sensitive.
Okay, go ahead.
Capital R on rapid.
Okay, rapid.
Pressures, capital P on pressures with an S on the end.
And there's spaces.
PRESSURE.
S. Capital T on trouble. And
Capital P on what?
trouble,
Oh,
TR.
after pressure.
After pressures,
Oh, what was it?
after pressures, you're typing in a capital T on trouble.
Trouble. Okay.
And then the last word is capital P on partially.
Partially.
Enter.
Okay, hit enter. Okay, I'm gonna cut and highlight and copy that in case I've done something different.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, join meeting here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
And there you are.
Okay.
Evan's the feedback.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hang up this thing now. Come on. Nuts. Boy, that was complicated. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm getting something that says install Chrome extension here, but I think I did that about 5 times.
Yeah, you can ignore that.
Yeah. Boy, that was complicated. Now, is that rapid pressure trouble thing going to be constant? Is that going to stay the same?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking I'll just save that to a.
It's just meant to be a chain that you'd have to know that you wouldn't guess.
Yeah, that's to keep people out that you're not inviting. Okay.
And Michael, I'm not hearing you. You're muted.
Is
Michael,
that,
you're muted.
is that to keep people out that you're not inviting? Maybe it's such a weird thing.
It is a Jitsi thing. That's what they name their sessions. It's just like 4 random words.
Okay, but that's going to be the same for every meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Lauren, is that perhaps why we haven't had people dropping in? Is because David isn't exactly a newbie,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah, I'm pretty computer illiterate, but I've never used Jitsi before. I'm kind of surprised you're not using Zoom or something more common or something.
Jitsi is sort of common among like radicals who are worried about security, because you can host your own instance, but we're not that techie, and so we're using their.
basically we had some security conscious people in the group, and they didn't like Zoom because that was before Zoom implemented security. So we're doing Jitsi, and we just haven't ever changed.
Okay, well, I guess that's
Not a good reason.
Not a good reason.
Yeah, okay.
Do you like Google Meet or Zoom best?
I'm most familiar with Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we do dial-in with Zoom?
Yeah. Zoom gives you phone numbers, I think.
Yeah. You can. First of all, I think you can do Zoom on your browser. I'm not sure about that, but I think so, because whenever I have tried it, the thing will come up and will say something about, do you want to open this in a separate application?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I always pick yes, which then runs the Zoom program and puts me there. I assume if I hit no on that, it would do it on a web page or something.
Right.
But I've never done that, so I can't say for sure.
Okay. Well, I guess we will put that on the to-do list and see if it messes things up too bad for sending out the invite on Zoom. Because I'm assuming, Lauren, that you've got Zoom installed because you've used it for other stuff.
Yeah, I have like a free Zoom account. So basically, you're limited to 40 minutes, but it's a stand up, so 40 minutes should be more than enough.
Yeah.
Oh, right. 40 minutes was a limit. Yes. Okay, that's fine.
And welcome,
Um,
is it Robert?
David.
David.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, I have not been on a meeting for years, partly because it was going to that email address, the Gmail address that I don't,
Yeah.
check very often or something, and partly just because I've been busy with a lot of other stuff. I believe I kind of tapered off and going because I felt like I wasn't really contributing anything before.
So I know this is supposed to be in crosstalk, but I'm just going to ask how your face mask thing for COVID worked.
Yes, I remember that too.
Which are you talking about the one I designed with the
Yeah.
with the saran wrap?
Yeah. I didn't know.
Well,
I've never heard whether it actually whether you got it to work to be reliable enough because you were looking for clips, if I remember.
I think I got it working pretty good.
Okay.
But then basically a friend of mine came up with a simpler design. Hold on a second.
Oh.
Here. Got a couple.
Okay.
Wait, I mean. Basically, we just started mass producing these.
Okay.
And so and we just started making hundreds and hundreds of them and giving them out to hospitals and nursing homes and schools and things like that. While the COVID was on.
Yeah. Okay.
But then they decided that face shields weren't that useful anyway, and people really needed the masks. And so we had hundreds of these things floating around that
that no one wanted to use. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you combine it with the mask, but I mean, I had heard that you could get COVID through your eyes. That if it got in your eyes, you could get infected that way. And so I guess if you have the mask and the face shield, you're doubly protected there or something.
Yeah. There's lots of people that were paranoid enough for that. Anyway, guys, I guess we should get back to making this a stand-up. Lauren, you want to start again, or?
Yeah, I'll start again.
Okay.
I'll do the background I'll do the background in crosstalk. But so I've been learning about containers because it turns out that
Lauren, you need to introduce yourself and say where you are and stuff.
this is Lauren Salter at on Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada, and the past week I was at Everything Electric in Vancouver to try and see what I could find out there, and I was going to make contact with a Linux expert to help us with some of the our robot operating system issues, and also the fact that we want to use containers so we can all be working in exactly the same operating system environment. And I didn't meet in person. He wasn't able to come, but I talked to him later, and so now we have two resources: one on this island where I live, who's deeply into containers, and another one. Both of them very familiar with containers, and one of them suggested something called Git-T, a Git host, or suggested just use GitHub for our repository, for our container repository, and program repository. And then today I've been working for a few hours, just moving a little farther in the Docker tutorials, Docker with robot operating system tutorials. And that coming week, I hope to finish the Docker tutorials and get to the actual robot again. And blocks are just other projects I'm working on, and not much else. And back to you, Michael.
Okay, it's Michael Wolchuk, Saskatoon, Canada. This past week, I got not very much done. We'll go over what the containers are for Docker and Crosstalk. Next week, I am hoping to follow up with what Lauren has done for the Docker tutorials and basically get us to the same place, and maybe try and get a repository put onto GitHub just to. I haven't used Git for long enough that I need to learn it again. And blocks, just stuff we're doing around the house. I was painting up until yesterday evening. It's raining now, so I'm not I'm not painting. And I guess David, do you want to try and do a stand up?
Okay. First of all, what is all this about containers? You're working on some kind of project for containers?
Yeah, we will go through that out in crosstalk. We'll just do our stand up first, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, recently I've been working with one other person on trying to develop a more efficient electric boat motor and propeller system, something to give electric boats more range and make them more practical, because right now electric boats have such limited range, they're not particularly useful. And so we're trying to basically design a propeller and a somewhat different system with the motor that'll go farther on the same battery. And I'm working with another friend on an improved CPAP machine that will be safer and have a lot of features and be lower maintenance and a lot of things like that. And
Excellent.
I'm still recently, still, I guess, I've been basically working with a lot of electronics and with 3D printing.
Okay. So, do you have any plans for next week that you want to share?
Well, right now, both of those projects are in the other guy's court. So until one of them comes back to me and says, I need some more help, I don't have that.
Okay.
There's a book that I've been started writing about 3 or 4 years ago and keep getting sidetracked on. Basically, I write a lot of books, but if you're familiar with Star Trek, they had the tricorders, and particularly the environmental tricorders, and this is an environmental tricorder.
Okay.
It reads the air pollution, radiation, particulate matter, basically all sorts of environmental hazards, and it has a little. It's not showing very well, but basically it has a little screen and it gives you all this information. And like I said, I've been working on that for some years, and I keep getting sidetracked. And at the moment, it's like very close to finished, but the final model has a problem that it keeps rebooting on me. And so I've been trying to work on that, but I have a lot of potential books in mind, and
Okay.
a lot of projects like that.
Okay, Lauren, you want to go on to? Yeah, you're still muted.
Retro.
Yeah, retro. That's what I meant.
Just an interjection or an aside. David, I put my emails in the chat.
Well, I'll show the chat in the recording so that we can have that on here.
I don't want my emails in the recording.
Okay, never mind. I won't do that then.
But,
Okay, hold on here.
Yeah, so there's a little comic book balloon, and you click on that, and it pops up the chat on the left side.
Yeah, hold on a second here.
Okay.
Yeah, I just copied and pasted. Okay, I got two emails here.
Yeah.
A Lauren.cell and a South Ching.
Both of them, yes.
Both of those are you?
Both
Those
of those are Lauren.
Okay, yeah. I have just cut and pasted them into a little file there.
Yeah, because I'm interested in your book. So anyway, I'll do my retro, which is 10 for me, 10 for the team, and process improvement is we've succeeded. We wanted to get another person on the call.
Well, that's the project, I guess. The email said something about too many people participating in the list, but I don't know what happened to all the other people.
I don't know.
Maybe they're having the same trouble too.
So I am going to give myself like a 3 out of 10 because I didn't get very much done. 10 for the team, and process improvement is going to be to change the invite to Zoom, and we'll get that set up for next week. Okay. So if we're, I don't know, do you want to do a retrospective, Dave? I don't imagine so.
Is that where I rate myself?
Yes.
Well, it was a couple of days ago that I finished doing the work on the CPAP machine for the guy, and so I'll give myself like about a 9 out of 10 there or something.
Oh, okay, good.
I do electronics, and he does the
Software.
mechanical part. This is the way
Okay.
And I'm in a maker space, and we have basically everybody in the maker space has a different talent. We got woodworkers, metal workers, 3D printers, electronics, all like this, and we collaborate on projects like this.
Cool.
And I'm the electronics 3D printer.
Okay. So crosstalk. Lauren, do you want to try? You want to give a shot for what Docker is and what a container is? Or you want me to try?
Yeah, I'll do that, and then I want to end the recording because I want to chat about more things. But yes, I'll do the containers. So we were looking for good tutorials on ROS. So we started with ROS, Robot Operating System, which is something that's attempting to have an open source thing like Android was for phones, for robots, like something that developers can use. And it's been pretty successful. So a lot of robotics students, pretty much all robotics students use it, and a lot of companies use it. There's 2 versions, ROS 1 and 2. And ROS 2 is a major upgrade, but people still use ROS 1 for the libraries, but ROS 2 has been around for a few years. So people are moving towards it. And it is techie and complicated the way Linux was techie and complicated in the 90s. It's like in robotics, because everything is devices and like inputs and outputs, it's not even for developers, it's not at the point, but it's just getting there. So there is a visual thing, a few visual things, I think. The one built into the open source one is called Gazebo, and you can kind of do a simulation of the robot, and you can get you can then take that code and put it on the actual robot. And that's what we found, some tutorials that did that. So we're working with those, but it's kind of moving quickly. So we've been let down by 2 things. We bought this Sunfounder kit that's about $70 Canadian, so it's probably 50 American, and we got it built, and then we found that they weren't supporting it very well. We asked them about something, and they said you have to use a really old version of Ubuntu for it. And I think that was the problem. Anyway, for our interest, we're going to kind of go it ourselves. It uses a Raspberry Pi. It doesn't. That's not included in the kit. And the Raspberry Pi has pretty well defined inputs and outputs. So we're going to kind of go it on our own. But the other side of it was there's the tutorial. One of the tutorials we found was an Italian guy who has a lot of videos, but they're all over 5 years old, I think. No, there's one that's just a year old, but they're kind of not supported. Some of the things he's talking about aren't supported. So we found another one that's more up to date, who refers to and praises the Italian guy. And his name is Josh, and he has a company called Articulated Robotics. And he's got some very up-to-date ones. And okay, so the containers, the container piece of it is he has a series of 5 videos called Docker Containers for ROS. So Linux administrators, and I've found 2, one local and one in Vancouver, who I've talked to, are like really into these containers because it gives you power. So you can give your users, or it has a lot of uses, but it basically I'm going to ask you, are you familiar? Are there any kind of software things you use that actually use like a VM with the software in it because they don't want to mess with your software? Are you familiar with that, David?
No, I don't quite understand what you're asking.
Yeah.
Can I give it a try, Lauren?
Sure.
Yeah.
So in Windows, everything you install has an effect on everything else on your computer. Those are side effects. So in order to avoid side effects, what they have come up with is called a virtual machine. So it's like a computer, a generic computer that's running on your computer that has standardized screen, standardized mouse inputs, etc. But you install like your own versions of the libraries, your own versions of the basically even as much as changing the operating system if you need to use an older operating system. The new way of doing that is called Docker. So you build a Docker image. Like if we get it right, or when we get it right, you will be able to download a Docker image of the robot, the simulation, the test setup that we've got running, and it'll be on GitHub. You download it, you run it, and you are running the same thing that we are. So you don't need to have this kit to make the robot. You can actually be running the source code that we're using and help test it or help develop on it or whatever you want to do. And that's the holy grail that we're trying to reach, is that it's very easy for someone to get to the same software that we're running and not make it too complicated to set up. How did I do, Lauren?
Yeah. I would add to that. So this is like a window on your computer, but it's, for example, if you've got Windows, it's running Linux. If you've got Linux, it's running Windows. It's and I don't know the Mac part of that, but I think Mac as the Macs as they have some kind of Unix thing. Anyway, between Windows and yeah, basically, it's an operating system, but only enough of the operating system to the parts that you need to run the robot operating system. The robot operating system is pretty demanding on hardware, device connections, and all this, but it's a little bit complicated with these containers because they right out of the box, they don't necessarily connect with USB. You have to put in a line of a configuration line that says enable USB and give it permission on your own operating system. There's a little bit of fussy stuff, but overall, yeah, it's and it's popular. Like I use statistical software, SAS, so I was familiar with it because they have a student edition now, and it doesn't run on your operating system. It runs in a window on a Linux, on a stripped down Linux version. So that's kind of the background to why we're doing this digression to containers.
Okay, so first of all, what you're basically working on is a robot operating system. That's the big picture object here, and this is to enable you to control robots.
So maybe one more step back. What we're trying to do is build a robot that will follow you around or do other tasks that you are wanting done, like watering your grass or whatever you dream up. And to enable that, Ross helps you interface with the hardware that you've got on your robot, whether it's the actuators, whether it's the vision system, whether it's whatever lidar system, whatever you've got on the robot. So that's what ROS does for you. ROS 1 is the beginning version. It didn't have any security on it. The big change in ROS 2 is that they added security, but they don't have as many libraries, and they don't connect to as many devices yet, and especially the old devices. And this Docker thing is trying to make it so that you can download and run on your computer the source code, the editor, the virtual machine that's running the simulator, all of that kind of stuff, so that you can play with it without having to have a robot of your own.
Okay, so with the software, you have a simulated robot on your computer, and you can write the code and have the simulated robot do it. And so then, so you don't buy the robot until you're sure you're ready for it.
Yeah, and the again, it's like a virtual machine, so it doesn't mess with your own software because it's so device oriented. It's picky about your machine, its environment. So rather than mess with your own Windows or Linux machine desktop, you get a window which is isolated from your machine, and you're so you're not impacting your desktop on your regular operating system. It's in a window. You use it when you're playing with the robotics, and like I say, it's fairly it seems fairly heavy on the you're creating users, and you're interfacing with hardware and things like that might affect your everyday operation. So basically, it's in a window that's isolated from your everyday operating system, and that's also good in terms of that we're all working with the same operating system. So let me step back just a bit. So some of the samples and examples we've got say we want Linux 20, we want Ubuntu 2004. Most of them are Ubuntu. We want the more recent 122 or 2024. You don't have to then change your operating system. You just get this Docker container. So that'll be an actual window on your computer that has an operating system and the robot operating system, without fear that the things you're doing may affect your everyday and your thing that's configured how you like it. So it kind of disappears when you're done working with the robot.
Okay. And you say the robot uses Raspberry Pi?
Yep.
A Raspberry Pi is sitting on top of the robot. It's not included in the cost of the robot.
Yeah.
And the robot kit has a hat, a couple of hats. Well, I call them hats, but I think it has only one hat. But then it has some other things that with connectors. So there's various there's some servo
Servo controller.
connectors for steering and pan and tilt, because the things that we have and that we've worked with, things have changed with the things have gotten cheaper. So like we have a static LiDAR and that we've gotten working for another project, and it doesn't spin around like a LiDAR on a car. It's not that expensive one. It's a little static one, and they're like $30 Canadian. So and we have IR one that we stopped using because the range was short. And the robot kit comes with a camera, and also there's servos for pan and tilt on the camera. And we figured that we can attach, because the LiDAR is quite small, we can attach the LiDAR to the same mount as Amazon.
Yeah.
So then we have a LiDAR that you can aim, and then this Italian robot guy has a video on how to take a static LiDAR and waggle it around so it can get a 180-degree picture of what's going on.
Yeah, actually, these here are some robots that I've built. See if we got. This one is just runs around and avoids running into things, and this one is supposed to follow you around. You know, like a dog or something. These the maker group that I'm in had a project years ago that they were going to try to get kids interested in science, sort of a mini STEM project here. We designed some robots, and we're going to bring kids in and have them build the robots and use them and everything. And just, you know, we designed a bunch of these robots, and just when we were about to start, COVID hit, and we decided it wasn't a good idea to have a bunch of kids together in a room. And then the whole thing just sort of went by the wayside and got kind of forgotten and everything. But I use Arduinos. With this system of yours, I take it you don't have to actually do Raspberry Pi coding to operate the robot.
No, it's actually it's part of this ROS system. So there's a portion of ROS running on the Raspberry Pi, and there's a portion of it running on your laptop if you choose, or it can all run on the Raspberry Pi if you like. So it's kind of modular. You can add more horsepower by adding more compute if you connect your laptop to it. Or you can run all the vision system stuff on the Raspberry Pi if you want to. It's a little bit slower. So the Arduino doesn't really have enough horsepower to do the vision processing.
Right. Well, I have seen things that they had cameras for the Arduino and were able to do vision processing. It may have been more limited. You know, I've just seen videos of people who will hold up a hand in front of it and do this, and lights will, different light will light up for your fingers as you do something like this, or things that will recognize a person and maybe follow the person around, or do something, raise one hand or another and it does something or other like that. So vision is possible with that, but I do know that the Raspberry Pi is a more powerful chip.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of got to be an expert in the Arduino and decided not to go through the whole learning curve of something else, stick with what I'm good at there. I mean, I'm 73 years old here. I'm not sure how many things I want to get into and everything.
I'm 78.
Yeah. I'm just saying that
I'm only 59.
I'm just saying that I decided to stick with the Arduino and not try to learn the Raspberry Pi. Although maybe I should at some point, but You know,
Whatever.
So the attraction of the ROS was learn one thing, and I think is there Arduino stuff with our ROS today? We got ESP32s for some of our projects, which are Arduino compatible, but they have the Wi-Fi and
ESP, yeah, ESP32s. I've played around a little with those. Those are very Arduino compatible and with a lot of extra features added in. And so
Yeah,
I'm
it's
actually,
like built-in Wi-Fi and built-in Bluetooth and a couple of other libraries, capacitive touch.
yeah, capacitive touch, some things like that. And so, and for me, it's an easy transition up to that from the Arduinos because they are compatible. It's just, you just add a few more things. You stick with, I actually, programmed a couple of simple tasks on the ESP, just to see, make sure I understood the compatibility and everything. So at some point, I will probably get into that. Whatever happened to Joe Justice? Is he still in the group?
Well, he is. He hasn't been. He hasn't come to a meeting in a long time.
I kind of want to talk about Joe, but we'll do it after the public thing because it's somebody who's not here to do. So
do you want to stop the recording then?
Yeah. So we can talk freely.
I think he did. Yeah, I mean, when I was last